Welcome everyone to yet another Discraft Classics disc review. This time we're going to take a look at what was the Ace Race disc in 2008, the Nebula. Now Ledgestone just released the Nebula earlier this year, so be sure to get yours while supplies last. So the flight numbers you're seeing are what I would give the Nebula based on my experience, as the Nebula was discontinued before the flight number era for Discraft. As mentioned, the Nebula is out of production, but one thing that struck me when I first held it is that it feels very compact. Almost feels like a putter instead of a mid-range, just like how the Malta kind of felt like a zone in the hand rather than a mid-range. It also has a slightly rounded shoulder in the profile, very slight dome on top, very comfortable for backhand. Forehand, a slightly awkward, but still backhand, this thing fits like a glove. So let's go ahead and take the Nebula out and show you what it does out in the field. When throwing a hyzer, it acts just like you'd expect for an overstable midrange. It just likes to hold hyzer. It's not one of those overstable midranges that will maybe get a little bit of a flip up to flat in the mid-flight and then hyzer out. No, it just likes to hold that nice arcing hyzer line. While when thrown flat, it's going to hold straight for a good portion of its flight before having that nice, strong, predictable finish, both backhand and forehand. But unlike traditional overstable mid-ranges, the Nebula actually penetrates forward as it hyzers out, giving you a little bit extra distance. Now on an anhyzer, you can get it to hold a nice little flex in the early mid-flight before it does have enough late flight stability to pull its way out of it. That's why I gave in the flight numbers kind of a 2, because it's overstable but not a really harsh finish. Now when you do throw it, it just likes to jet out of the hand. I mean, this thing goes a lot further than any other overstable mid-range that I have thrown, and it just likes to get to its destination really fast and has a unique capability of, as it's starting to get into the second half of the flight, instead of just dropping to the ground like most overstable mids, it keeps on going, as we'll see in a future shot. Now, when the wind picks up, the Nebula does get very straight, as this is about a 15-mile-an-hour right to left headwind. And when thrown on a slight Annie into a headwind, it just kind of holds its line. It really doesn't try to fight its way back like other overstable mids would. And that's why for calm weather, I absolutely love the Nebula as an overstable mid. In the wind though, it's not nearly as trustworthy as some of the others. When I first picked up the Nebula, a lot of people were comparing it to a Buzzz OS. Let's take a look at them side by side. With the Nebula, you can see again right there, it just gets this extra little bit of this great glide. It keeps it moving forward as it's hyzering, versus with the Buzzz OS, it just has more of this harsh drop. So the Buzzz OS doesn't get nearly the same distance capability of the Nebula because it just kind of dumps to the ground, versus the Nebula kind of pushes its way forward. I am so excited Ledgestone made another run of the Nebula, because it is going to be absolutely perfect for slower to medium arms, versus where the Buzzz OS and the drone may be a little bit too overstable. This is going to be a little bit more workable for players with those slower arms. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, keep banging them chains.